Race of the round 8 kicked off this weekend, and it kicked off with a bang. High emotions and plenty of action on the track, but did emotions get too high? We'll talk about it coming up. Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Cameron Simpson. Hopefully you guys are having a good day, because I am, and we do have a lot to get to in today's video, including a playoff driver locking themselves into the next round of the playoffs. That is not the only big story that came out of this weekend's action at Las Vegas. We also had major controversy that I believe we need to start the show off with today. So, if you haven't seen it yet, we'll catch you up to speed. So, Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson were racing on the racetrack. They were side by side. Kyle Larson put it in a little too deep. He ran up, got Bubba Wallace into the wall. Bubba hanged a left-hand turn and ran right into the 5 car, causing a violent crash. I mean, they wrecked hard into the wall, with this next-gen car is huge, because we've been talking about how wrecks have been so big, drivers have been involved in these incidents, and it is hurting drivers. I mean, Kurt Busch retired 1 year earlier because of a crash involving a car that they race on this season. He retired a full year earlier because of this car and a violent hit. So what does that make of this? I mean, it doesn't look good for Bubba Wallace, is what I'm going to say. Anyway, Bubba gets out of the car and then walks over to Kyle Larson, starts pushing him, and Kyle Larson really didn't want to deal with it. He just wanted it to happen, let it go, but there was continuous pushing from Bubba Wallace. And for this, I stand with what a lot of people have been saying, that Bubba Wallace deserves a severe punishment for this. He put himself, a driver of the 5, and all of the drivers behind him. He actually caught up an innocent victim in this one, being the 20 car of Kyle Larson, who ended up having to go in the back of the field, losing a lot of points, puts himself in a big hole to make it to the championship 4. He put drivers in a terrible position, drivers that had decent chances to make it farther in these playoffs like that. He put his own Toyota teammate in a bad spot. But I mean, why was he so fed up with this? He's not racing for anything anymore. He's out of the championship. Kyle Larson is out of the playoffs. And I mean, in my opinion, it is just my opinion. I do understand that. There needs to be some severe punishment, and I think suspension is needed. I mean, you can't do this. You cannot put another driver's career on the line, himself on the line. You put another driver in severe danger with this new car. Even those little teeny hits are big hits. And this was a big hit, so I can only imagine how big hits feel when we talk so much about how the little hits are bugging all these drivers. And now we have a big hit. So I'm curious, and I'll be interested to see what NASCAR does with this. But I think Bubba does need to get suspended. I've heard that from a lot of different people around the industry, and I agree. It's either a suspension or a very severe points deduction, and I would go with the suspension and the points deduction. I mean, number one, he did come into the middle of a yellow flag. The race was active. The cars were still going around the field, and started to shove a driver and push a driver. And I'm not against driver emotion. Like, I'm normally one to say, hey, let's go. I love when drivers show emotion because it shows that they're not just robots. But there is a degree in which you can show your displeasure towards someone, and there's a time and a place. You know, post-race on pit road, that's a good time to go at somebody. But on the track, or when you endanger somebody, that's tough. Noah Gragson in the Xfinity Series got a 30-point penalty deduction for doing a similar thing on a much slower racetrack of Road America. This is a high speed. This could be dangerous. So I have faith that NASCAR will deliver the penalty needed. They said they'll do it later in the week. We'll report on it when it happens. But I believe in NASCAR to deliver the punch to Bubba Wallace. What I don't believe on is the appeals committee, because I believe the appeal committee has been a little too nice to drivers. They let William Byron go off when he should not have. William Byron should have gotten the full-blown penalty. They let him go off unscathed, no penalty, no point deductions. If you do something that warrants a penalty, I mean, NASCAR came into the season saying that penalties were going to be more severe, let the penalty happen. And I do not have faith that the appeals committee will hold this one up. Maybe it's just me, but I'm hearing this a lot. But I agree with all these opinions that Bubba should get a penalty. Not for necessarily the pushing and the shoving, mainly for the part that he hanged a left. And it was proven from NBC that he did hang a left from their stats that they have on all the cars. You can't really get away with it anymore. They figured it out live during the race. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. But in my opinion, Bubba Wallace should get a penalty in a suspension. Anyway, now let's move on to the racing itself, because a playoff driver locked themselves into the next round of the playoffs. Yes, that is correct. Joey Logano. I know. I don't like Joey. You guys know I'm not a big Joey Logano fan. But he locked himself into the next round of the playoffs, which means there are only 3 spots left in the championship 4. This is Joey Logano's 5th appearance. That ties him with, I think it's Kyle Busch, Martin Truex, and Kevin Harvick. All 3 of those guys this year weren't able to make it into the championship 4. But now there's 4 drivers with 5 playoff appearances. I believe that is most all-time for all of them. It came down to 2 of the most aggressive drivers in the field battling it out. Chase Chastain and Logano. Logano waited. He was calm. He didn't wreck. He actually won a race for once where he actually did the right thing. I know it's a shocker to all of you, because it is to me. I would have figured he was going to spin him out. I was going to figure that he was going to wreck him in the wall. I was kind of hoping that was going to happen because Kyle Busch was in 3rd. But I don't know. That's my thing on that. But for it, let's take a look at the finishing results. As we said, Joey Logano, first driver to lock himself into the championship 4. He was in my championship 4 in the prediction, so I'm slightly happy about that, but I'm not happy about Joey Logano being in the championship 4. I do not want him to win another championship. Chastain finishing 2nd today, another playoff driver, continuing to roll. Chastain's continuing to roll. Kyle Busch, as I said, battled through an adversity day. He spun out on his own. He blew a tire, and now he has something else go wrong for him as well. But at this point, he is now battling for top 10 in points. He's got a chance for it. Chase Briscoe finished 4th in today's race. Another underdog story. I am watching that underdog story to see if maybe he can break through and head to the next round of the playoffs. Danny Hamlin looking for his championship 4 appearance. Tyler Reddick in 6th. Martin Truex in 7th. Eric Jones in 8th. Austin Dillon. AJ Allmendinger, in 9th. Austin Dillon in 10th. Noah Gragson filling in for Alex Bowman in 11th. Kevin Harvick in 12th. William Byron in 13th. Justin Haley in 14th. And Chris Buescher finishes 15th in today's race. All right, with that win, let's head now to the the point standings. As you can see, that locks Joey Logano in, so he is in yellow because of that win. That means that there are only 3 more playoff spots remaining, which makes some drivers a little nervous, I would think, around the field. Let's take a look. Here we go. So Logano locked into the playoffs. Just below him on the playoff grid is Ross Chastain. He's 18 points to the good. Not really, 18 points to the good, that's nothing. He can lose that in the first stage of one of these races. So 18 points to the good, nothing to be hang your hat on. Chase Elliott is 17 points to the good. Holding a cough, guys, I'm sorry. Denny Hamlin is 6 points to the good. With that, so that puts Byron out by 6, Chase Briscoe only out by 9, Ryan Blaney out by 11, and Bell is out by 23 points. Now, no one's in a must-win yet, but Bell finds himself in the worst situation after this week. Blaney finds himself in a rocky road, but he can get back, next week, being Homestead. Who am I watching next week from these playoffs? I guess maybe all of them. They all can do good. So we'll see what happens. Honestly, I don't know exactly how this will all go in these next couple weeks. We'll watch it. Those are your playoff update right now. Let's talk about the racing today. All in all, there was major controversy today. We'll see how it develops through the week. You'll see me again. We'll decorate the set for Halloween. I know I'm very late to that this year, but you'll see me again. For right now, I'm on the fence about kind of how it all went down today. I don't know what to think, who to agree to disagree with. Right now, it's on the fence, and I think Bubba should get a suspension. But besides that, I think that this was a good race. It had an exciting finish. It had interesting moments and plenty to talk to. So for that, I will hit the gas and give this race a B+. Las Vegas, this part of the playoffs, 2.5-mile tracks in a row. What do you think about that? That's an interesting one for sure. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one later in the week. Peace!